Hi, I'm Dave Atkinson, and welcome to Life on the Straight. This 12th installment in the Epic Remodel series covers the weeks of December 8th through the 21st in 2019. Even though my calendar noted that framing had mostly been completed last week, there was still quite a bit left to do, much of which is covered over this 2-week period. Also, the plumber made his entrance to the project. On Monday, the crew began work on the stairs going up to the laundry room from the garage. The plumber also arrived and started work on his substantial pieces of the remodel puzzle. The next day, our big order of windows from Jeld-Wen arrived and was staged out in the sunroom. Our new TV from Samsung also arrived, and our neighbors offered to store it in their downstairs rec room, where, unlike our barn, it was heated. Amy was busy with emails. She informed Frank about what would be a comfortable bench height in the wet room for me, and also her thoughts about the proper location and dimensions of the soap and shampoo niche on the wall behind the bench. She sent Frank a photo of the barn door style entry that we were thinking about for the master bathroom. She also let Frank know a few wishes for the mudroom: a stained bench rather than painted, and 2 rows of coat hooks. We had talked about using tongue and groove wood planking for a few feature walls throughout the house, and Amy let Frank know where they should go: the wall behind our bed in the master, the wall above our vanity in the master, the wall in the hall bath above the sink, all 4 walls of the sunroom, and the back wall of the mudroom. Jeff was already going to use beadboard behind the pantry shelving to give it kind of a feature wall look. Amy sent Frank the look we were going for in our master bathroom above the vanities: 2 mirrored and rectangular medicine cabinets and 3 wall light fixtures. Amy and Jeff were also emailing each other as to the cabinetry. Jeff needed the exact make and model of our appliances to complete his final drawings. Amy had a specific look she wanted for the glass upper cabinetry doors in the kitchen. She also sent Jeff a photo of the type of pull-out tray we wanted in the hall bath vanity. The hall bath vanity would differ from the master vanity in that it would be suspended from the wall. We had since decided to go with the same wall-mounted toilet in the hall bath that was going in the master bath, and having both the toilet and the vanity up away from the floor would make a small room look a little bit more spacious. Jeff sent us his final drawings for us to sign off so he could get back to us with a final price. Out in the sunroom, the crew removed the wood paneling from the lower areas of the 3 window walls. The east-facing wall had a cat door opening that we had long ago plugged, but it was an ugly scar on that end of the sunroom that we would be glad to see fixed. Our double oven and dual fuel range appliances arrived, as did our ceiling fan for the master bedroom, and they were stored out in our barn. The crew needed to construct a weight-bearing wall in the basement to hold up the floor joists around where the master bath's shower pan was going. And they got some bad news. The concrete floor of the basement wasn't thick enough to support it. This meant that the concrete saws and pry bars came into play as the crew removed a rectangular chunk of the basement floor. And then some additional dirt was removed, rebar was set up, and new concrete was poured, and that would make for an expensive trip to the dump. By the end of Thursday, the stairs in the garage had mostly been completed. An access door had been framed to enter the crawl space below the laundry room, and the new weight-bearing wall in the basement had been framed. Let me take a moment to focus on Frank's constant pursuit of perfection. All of the windows in the basement were due for replacement, but Frank removed the window closest to the new wall they had just framed so he could modify the top of the frame with a header board. There was nothing in the building code that required him to do that, and none of the other basement window frames had header boards. But Frank wanted that area around the wall to be as robust as he could practically build it. So that's what he did. On Friday, the crew trenched where the new propane line was slated to go. Our house didn't have propane service, but we would now have it for 3 areas: the fireplace, the cooktop, and stub to the front deck for use by a propane grill should we later choose to go that route. The plumber was busy mostly installing drain and vent piping throughout the house, but he also got around to fitting one of the German-made Geberit in-wall toilet tanks for the master bath. The bathtub was also unboxed so we could check it out. The crew framed up the bench seat and niche section in the master bath area. We had special ordered a box of tile that we chose for the entire master bathroom floor as well as the bench, and it arrived at Home Depot on Monday. If we and our tile guy were satisfied, then we would later place a full order. On Tuesday, a large swath of sheetrock was removed from a wall inside of the garage. We had requested the plumber to replace our old water spigot just outside of the garage with a new hot-cold spigot, and we also wanted the water to first be treated by our softener system, which would cut down on water spots when I washed the car. The insulation would soon join the sheetrock in coming out to give him space for all of his new piping. We also instructed the plumber to create a hot water loop between a new water tank that was on order and most of the faucets throughout the house. In our old custom-built home in Issaquah, that is how we went. Even though the water tank was out in a garage and our master bathroom was at the other extreme end of the house, we could turn on the hot water and have nearly instant hot water. Letting a hot water faucet run for up to a minute for hot water to finally come out wastes a lot of water and a little time. In this remodel, the plumber would install a computer-controlled recirculating pump that automatically could sense and then adjust to our usage patterns. Back out in the sunroom, the crew removed the sliding glass door from the east wall. In the kitchen area, Frank marked the floor where the new island cabinetry would go and provided the location for the propane stub that would be used by the range. A propane stub was also installed for the fireplace. The propane piping was laid in the outdoor trench, and the line now exited through the west side of the house. The shared wall between the hall and master bathrooms needed to be thicker in order to fit the 2 in-wall toilet tanks, a large amount of water, drain, and vent piping, and the 3 recessed medicine cabinets, so the additional framing was installed in the master bath side of the wall. Out on the front deck, some of the siding was removed, and a few items slated for reuse were awaiting disposal. The crew removed the window shutters from around the 2 small bedroom windows as they prepped for more siding removal. They also moved the Jeld-Wen window order out of the sunroom and out to the front deck, using OSB sheets secured to the house to protect them. So back to the sunroom, Frank rethought how to deal with the needs of the floor sloping towards the new sliding window thresholds in a way that would allow for the proper placement of floor tile later on. At first he was going to remove about half of the decking planks, plane them down in 1/64 inch increments, and reattach them. But now he would just remove the planks, plane down the floor joist to provide the correct slope, and then use OSB rather than the old decking to construct a new base decking. Then he would install more OSB to create a subfloor on top. This was mostly completed by the end of the second week. During the decking removal process, one of the workers was standing on a beam holding up the floor joist when it just swung out of the way with him on it. Luckily, he caught himself on the surrounding flooring before falling through the deck, but that alerted the crew that they needed to look at the rest of the support structure holding up the deck. To their surprise, where the floor joist rested on the beams, only gravity was holding things together. No support brackets had been used at all. The crew was diverted from their inside work to crawling throughout the underside of the deck and retrofitting brackets where needed. The crew also reframed where the new master bedroom sliding glass door would go. The new slider was the same size as the old one, but we wanted the door moved further to the east so we would have a little better view of the strait as we were lying in bed. The floor drain was installed in the master shower, and we consulted with Frank on choosing the type of strip drain that would eventually feed into that round floor drain. For much of the next few days, Frank was installing blocking in the bathrooms where grab bars and towel racks would be mounted. I sat in a new bathtub and then attempted to get up, reaching for where a grab bar should go. And Frank used my input in calculating where that blocking should go. Frank also installed blocking out in the garage for where the stair railing would go. And down in the basement, the plumber had been busy. The drains were all connected to the pipe leading out to our septic tanks, including the new main drain pipe coming in from the laundry room area. He was also active up in the attic and on the roof with his extended vent piping. Frank didn't want any of the vent pipes to puncture the new metal roof, so all of the vents would come up on the north side of the roof peak. This made for some rather long vent pipes in places. He also brought water up to where the new fridge would go. It had no water dispenser, but it did make ice. In our old kitchen, the cooktop had a downdraft vent that vented out below the front deck. Our new range would also vent down and out, but it would be in a different location, so the old vent to the outside was sealed up and a new one installed. That wraps up another 2 very busy weeks of our Epic Remodel project. Thank you for watching Life on the Straight, and please consider subscribing, which is free, to stay abreast of new content. And be sure to like and share as well.